This week in Japan, thousands of people were hospitalized. In Italian Sicily, transportation speed was limited to 30 kilometers per h. In the United States, a 120-year-old bridge could not withstand the extreme heat. And South Korea is being flooded by record rains. In just 1 hour, 10% of the annual rainfall fell. Details of these and other events are in the weekly review of the planet's climate disasters from July 3rd to 9. Italy. A red alert level was declared on the island of Sicily, Italy, due to the simultaneous eruption of two volcanoes, Etna and Stromboli. Mount Etna had been showing increasing activity over the past 3 weeks. On July 4th, a powerful eruption occurred with lava fountains and a volcanic ash cloud about 5 kilometers high. In the province of Catania, ash covered roads, sidewalks, cars, and the runway of the local airport, leading to the cancellation of at least 90 flights. In the city, cycling and motorcycling were banned for 2 days, and the speed limit for all vehicles was reduced to 30 kilometers per h. Simultaneously with Etna, the Stromboli volcano also became active, releasing a stream of lava that rapidly flowed into the sea down the mountain slope. Summer in Sicily is becoming unbearable for many. Last year, severe wildfires forced tourists to evacuate or cancel their trips. And this summer, in addition to the volcanic activity, the island is suffering from drought and water shortages. South Korea. In South Korea, record heavy rains have been recorded, leading to the deaths of 4 people, with 1 more person missing. About 1,600 people were evacuated. In the city of Gunsan, more than 10% of the region's average annual rainfall fell in just 1 hour. This was the highest amount of rain in 1 hour in the country's history. In the city of Wonju, rescuers evacuated residents of a village who were waiting for help on the roofs of their houses. One elderly man was barely saved as he clung to a pole for a long time. In the city of Busan, floods partially suspended railway transportation, and flights at Gimhae Airport were cancelled or delayed. China. Experts note that tornadoes in the Chinese province of Shandong are extremely rare, averaging 1.5 per year. But in just 2 days in early July, at least 3 destructive tornadoes hit the province. As a result, at least 83 people were injured and 5 died. The whirlwind swept through, breaking trees, tearing off roofs, and tossing cars. More than 2,800 houses, 48 power lines, and over 24,000 hectares of farmland were damaged. On July 5th, a dam break at Dongting Lake in Hunan province caused a massive flood. Water rushed onto fields and villages, flooding houses up to their roofs. Nearly 6,000 people were forced to evacuate. Japan. Japan is experiencing dangerous heat. More than half of the country's prefectures received heat stroke warnings. On July 7th, the temperature in Shizuoka reached 40 degrees Celsius, setting a record since the beginning of meteorological statistics. In hundreds of other locations, the thermometer rose to 35 degrees Celsius and above. In recent years, mortality from heat in Japan has increased 6-fold. On July 8th, at least 435 people aged 2 to 102 were hospitalized with suspected heat stroke. In total, more than 6,800 people were admitted to medical facilities with this diagnosis in the first week of July. Turkey. Due to heavy rains, the Turkish Meteorological Service issued one warning after another this week. Water flooded buildings and roads, damaging city infrastructure as well as agricultural lands. The province of Ordu was particularly affected. On July 7th, 186.7 mm of rainfall was recorded in the Iquiche district in one day. Water overflowed riverbanks and rushed into the streets, sweeping away cars and bridges. At least 2 people became victims of the disaster. After heavy rains, landslides occurred in many areas. One of the landslides blocked the Ünye-İkizce highway. India. Many states in India continue to struggle with floods amid extreme rains. On July 9th, a red alert was declared in the cities of Mumbai and Pune due to tides and heavy downpours. Before the morning rush hour, more than half of the monthly rainfall norm fell on Mumbai, a city of 12 million people in just 6 hours. Suburban passenger trains, critical for millions of people, were stopped due to flooded railway lines. At the city's airport, 36 flights were cancelled and hundreds were delayed due to poor visibility. In the state of Assam, storms, floods, and landslides have already killed 92 people. Nearly 2.3 million residents were forced to leave their homes, and the total number of affected people reached 24.5 million. Huge damage was inflicted on agriculture, with over 68,000 hectares of arable land flooded. The flood not only destroyed roads, bridges, and houses in thousands of villages across the state, but also caused serious damage to Kaziranga National Park. The flood killed 114 wild animals, one of the highest mortality rates in the park's history. In the state of Uttarakhand, a landslide occurred on the national highway. Thousands of passengers were stranded on both sides of the road. In the city of Almora, a powerful stream of water destroyed a bridge, and now residents have to cross the strong river current, risking their lives to get to work or school. In the city of Pilibhit, Uttar Pradesh, heavy rain continued for a day, turning many villages into islands. Rivers and streams swelled so much that culverts under the railway tracks were washed away by the strong water flow, leaving the rails hanging in the air. Due to the disaster, 7 people died in the state. USA. The record-breaking Hurricane Beryl, after devastating the Caribbean countries, crossed the Gulf of Mexico and struck the coast of Texas in the USA.
Very powerful.
Beryl caused the deaths of at least 12 people. The hurricane brought torrential rains and strong winds. Roads turned into raging rivers. Power lines were downed, and most hotels and buildings along the coast had their roofs damaged. There were instances where huge trees, falling, split houses in half. In Brazoria County, peak wind gusts reached 156 kilometers per h. In the Houston area, the wind damaged the retractable roof of the local stadium and overturned several tractor trailers. Storm surges and heavy rains caused flooding. In some parts of Houston, 213 mm of rain fell, which is comparable to the average rainfall for the entire summer. Hurricane Beryl left more than 2.7 million homes without electricity. Restoring power could take several days or weeks. The situation is exacerbated by the unbearable heat and humidity that are raging in the state these days. On July 8th, it was so hot in New York that the Harlem River drawbridge got stuck in the open position due to overheating and expansion of its steel structures. Fireboats were spraying water on the bridge to cool it down. The inoperative bridge caused major traffic jams during the evening rush hour. Record heat continues to scorch the western USA. 14 weather stations set new historical temperature records. On July 6th, a group of motorcyclists suffered severe heat stroke after riding through Death Valley National Park. On that day, the air temperature reached 53.3 degrees Celsius. Due to the record temperature, emergency medical helicopters were unable to reach the victims. Unfortunately, one person died. Unbelievably, despite the deadly heat in the USA, tourists continue to flock to Death Valley. The world is facing growing climate challenges, and it is time for each of us to take responsibility. It is time to step out of our comfort zones and grow up. By sharing information about the increasing danger, we not only help others realize the reality and stop being careless about their lives, but we can also find solutions together to eliminate the causes of climate disasters by taking timely and comprehensive measures. We are responsible for the planet and the life on it.